Hi there, everyone. This is the session where we talk about building custom apps to drive productivity in the remote work world with Power Apps and Teams. And today, presenting this session is me, Tulsi Keshkamat. I'm the Group Program Manager for the Power Apps on Teams product. And with me, I have Mark.
Hey, good afternoon. My name is Mark McCurry, and I'm from the Common Data Service team.
Let's get started. So, today for the agenda, we are covering the Teams and Power Platform overview. And the thing that we are most excited about is the Project Oakdale overview as well. And we're going to go deeper into the apps, data, security, solutions, and so on. And Mark is going to lead us on that area. So, let's get started. Let's take a quick look at where we are today. As you're all aware, the COVID 19 pandemic has completely changed the way that we work. Most of us have shifted to a remote work model, which has seen the usage of Teams skyrocket. Individuals are working digitally, teams are collaborating on screens, and organizations are going remote. In fact, as Satya says, we have seen 2 years worth of digital transformation in a mere 2 months. On the other hand, the Power Platform is being used to build low code business solutions by 97% of Fortune 500 companies. And they're using Power Platform to accelerate development, not just for citizen developers, but also for IT pros. With this new reality, we must transform how we integrate Power Platform. When we integrate into teams, we are looking at further lowering effort for individuals and teams, which also means lowering costs for organizations. In fact, our customers are leading us on this journey. They're showing us how it's done. If we look at just some of these examples, PayPal is talking about how interoperability between Microsoft Teams and Power BI and Power Apps has eased not just meetings but overall communication. Telstra has successfully used Power Platform to enable their field employees to access everything that they need to serve their customers in a single place and accessible from any device. Northwell Health talks about the time savings that they're having every day, which then translate into a lot of savings over a period of time and a large number of employees. And the American Red Cross has talked about how they've pulled all the capabilities of Power BI, Power Apps together in teams, which has enabled them to gain efficiency over their processes and quickly wrap up some projects. Look at the journey that we've had, where one step builds upon the last and brings us to where we are today and to some of the major announcements of the day. In November 2019, we added the ability to add apps to Teams as personal apps. We saw good usage, but when the COVID 19 pandemic hit in March of 2020, the Crisis Communications app saw the usage of Power Apps on Teams really go up. In May 2020, we added the ability to add Power Virtual Agents to chatbots. And now, given where we are at, when we look at how all the leaders in the organization are talking about this, how our customers are looking to use the product, and the various learnings we've had on transforming how we work, September 2020 brings to us the announcement of deepening Teams integration with Power Platform. That is this discussion. And with that in mind, there are three big things that we are talking about today. The first biggest thing is Project Oakdale, where we bring built-in low-code data platform into Microsoft Teams. This is a subset of the capabilities of the same data platform that powers Dynamics 365 and Power Platform and provides rich data types with enterprise capabilities, one-click solution deployment, and most importantly, is governable by IT. Mark is going to go a lot deeper into this as from the CDS side. The second big thing that we want to talk about today are the embedded App Studio and the authoring experiences inside of Teams. We have made this native to Teams so that the apps that you're creating feel a part of Teams, and the editable grid, which is a no code experience that we have added, allows you to build data models and add data at the same time. So there's no need to add the data schema separately. In addition, something that most of you have been eagerly waiting for a while, we have made it possible to add a responsive layout for web, tablet, mobile as a Teams native experience. Also included is theming. And then chatbots are not far behind. Low-code chatbots have an integrated experience also in Power Virtual Agent Studio. This no-code graphical chatbot building experience is embedded right inside Teams and allow building all sorts of bots, from personalized bots which allow employees to look up their pay stubs and get HR information, to anything else that the organization may need to deploy them for. Chatbots can be published to all employees or to the team of your choice with a single click. And now, Mark, why don't you talk to us about how this is built?
Sounds great, Tulsi. So everything we just talked about is built on the core of the common data service. And so it's going to deliver relational data, image, and file data support. And as we talked about, it is assigned to, each environment is assigned to a team. And so that means you're going to get within a team 2 gigabytes of storage, which can support up to 1 million rows across your applications within that team. Now, the data can be shared across multiple apps, flows, and chatbots. So it is a full-fledged environment in which you can build all the things that we just talked about. And now the nice thing is you can also be promoted to the full common data service if you need it in the future. One of the things we heard a lot from customers is sometimes they have to pick a technology today. They don't know if it's going to be viral or not. And they don't necessarily want to go and ask for a license later on. And so sometimes what happens is they pick one technology today and they had to re-architect their applications later on. Here you know that if you do need more capacity or control or capabilities, you're going to be able to upgrade that in the future. Now, in the Power Platform, we are customer obsessed, and we spent a lot of time talking to customers about what their application needs were and what they wanted to build inside of Teams. And they really came back with 3 categories of applications. The first one is what we might call personal apps, and these are things that might be built for someone in a one-to-one capacity. So imagine you're building an application for employees when they're onboarding, where there might be a checklist of things they need to go and do. Then you might have a team app, and so these are things where we have people within a team that are all working together, and they're deployed just for that audience. And so you might imagine here there's an icon for a store walk application. Now in this case, you can imagine there's a team for every retail store. The folks in that store are going to go and just do a walk around inspection. Some folks are doing that for COVID. They might be checking things that everything is clean. They might be checking that everything is stocked, and really just doing a walk around the store. But it's everyone within that team, that the people that are working in that store. And then you have applications like the Crisis Communications app, where I need to have an application that spans beyond the team to everyone in an organization. Now, that organization could be my entire company. It could be my division. It could be the group that I work with, which may be larger than the team. So we really have lots of opportunities that are there. And behind the scenes, we assign it to an AED group. So you really have a lot of flexibility in how you might go about doing that. Now, one thing we always, talking to customers is they love CDS, but they also, for makers, wanted to have a security model that was really robust, but also easy to use. And so the great thing is that Project Oakland is built on top of the Common Data Service, and it delivers that enterprise-grade security that you'd expect. It also makes it easy. And so with Teams, there's this notion of owners, members, and guests. And so when I'm building these applications for my teams, it actually aligns to those really well. And so access to the environment is restricted to just the team owners, members, and guests. And the ability to assign different security roles to team owners and members, and no security settings management for business unit or teams are required. So it's really easy to get in there. And there's some great work the team has been putting in to be able to assign different types of security in there. So it really took the best of CDS we saw for common scenarios, made it available within the context of Teams, and really easy for the makers to go ahead and configure. And remember earlier we talked about organizational apps? Well, we've extended for users who live outside the team as well. And so this is a scenario where the IT team may develop an app that's used by a department, a division, or the entire company. And so when you think about these, and we've sort of talked to customers, there were two distinct groups that were there, right? There were people who would build and operate them, and there's a group of people who would use them. So everyone in the organization may use it, but there were maybe 5 to 6 people that were building these out and maintaining them. And so what we've also done is extend the security model to support application users. And so with application users, we're adding the ability for you to develop this within a team and maintain it within a team. But you can assign an Azure Active Directory group that you identify to use it. So it could be all Contoso employees or a division. But the important thing is they are not members of the team, and they're only given access to the apps you specify. They're not given access to the underlying data or the ability to change tables or change the apps or anything like that. And so you really take apart sort of the people who build them, and those people will work within the team, and people who use them who can be anywhere in your organization. The key thing to think about the approach to Oakdale is it's really about what you need when you need it. And the great thing is that everything we just talked about is included at no additional cost for Microsoft Teams customers. So you can add Project Oakdale to any team. You're giving permission for 500 teams within your organization. That volume supports up to 1 million records for each team out of the box. You can use apps, chatbots, and automations backed by Oakdale embedded in Teams on any platform. And all existing, including Power Platform capabilities and connectors that are there out of the box, your standard connectors, for example, are things you have available for use. Now, if you say, you know what, I want to get what we call the 3 Cs, more capacity, control, or additional capabilities. Maybe you want to be able to have standalone premium apps or bots and automations that live outside of Teams. Or if you want to be able to use premium connectors to support enterprise systems like SAP or Oracle, you always have the option to do that with upgrading in different ways. And so the nice thing is, for the majority of things that you need for most projects, they're there in the box. For those occasions where you need to get some additional capability, it's there for you. It's no, I'm going to make a decision for today and have to re-architect tomorrow. It really does give you that comfort that, hey, I can build on this today, and if I do need things in the future, and depending on where this goes, we have options available to us, which is just great. And so now, Tulsi, I think it's probably a great time for us to take them through a demo. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it. This is exciting. In this demo, let's look at a few things that we just discussed. To begin with, let's look at the embedded authoring experience. You can start by creating an app and selecting the team in which you want to create the app. This will put us into the studio experience, which is embedded inside of Teams. Let's give our app a name, something like inventory tracking app. Save it. And now for data store, let's add a new table. This is going to use the brand new table editor that we just talked about. It has an Excel-like interface very conveniently, and you can think about the table as an entity with the columns as fields on that entity. The columns can have different types. In this case, we are building an app where department is of type choice, and you can create different options for that choice and give it different colors. This app is a simple app. We are simply doing an inventory of items that you can find in a departmental store, and we are assigning the department that that item belongs to. As you can see, you don't have to spend a ton of time thinking about the data schema. You can simply go ahead and create the table very easily, populate it, put the data in there. And once you've done that and you close the app, we're going to auto generate this app for you. So as you can see, this is a very simple app that allows you to view all the rows on the left and shows the columns for the selected row on the right. Now let's go ahead and publish this to a team. We're going to choose the team on which we want to go add this app. There you go. You can see that the app has got added to a tab inside of your team, and you can use it right there. You can look at the rows, you can edit any value, you can save, and that's how easy it is. We have built an app in less than 5 minutes.
That was a great demo, Tulsi. You want to talk to folks about how they can install these solutions inside of Teams?
Absolutely. So I mentioned three big things that we are going to talk about today, right? We talked about the first two, and this is the third one. This is the ability that we are adding to install Power Platform solutions into Teams with a single click. Now, thanks to Project Oakdale, Teams users are able to find and install custom solutions from the Teams App Store itself. As you can see in the GIF that's on this slide, it's really straightforward and very simple to go look through the Teams App Store and get what you're looking for. And installation is just as simple. Citizen developers or partners or IT, as in the case of organizational apps that you talked about, Mark, can now easily put their solutions where Teams users know to naturally look for them. One other thing that we've done which is really cool is that we've added solutions for teams that are pre-built for common scenarios into the team store. So these solutions deliver applications that address common scenarios that may be industry agnostic. These are ready to use out of the box and they're installed, which can then further be modified to theme with an organization's corporate branding or integrate with their internal systems or modified for adding more capabilities and functionality. So basically think of these as pre-built solutions that you can start off on and then layer on whatever new additional capability you want to add.
Yeah, and what's great, Tulsi, is the team had put together a set of pre-built solutions for common scenarios. So in that demo earlier, we saw how easy it was for you to build something from scratch. But you know what if we could give you some of the more common scenarios that did apply horizontally that you just talked about, available to folks out of the box? And what's great is the team is shipping apps for employee ideas, floor walk. So this is I'm able to walk across and do an inspection of the store. We hinted at that a little bit earlier in the discussion. Asset inspection, issue reporting, as well as asset checkout. And so we've got a mixture of an organizational app in here as well. And what I love about Tulsi, what you and the team have done is that you really can use these in these really are sort of horizontal scenarios, right? That you've seen them used in everywhere from post offices to pipelines to stores and things like that in terms of interest of where people want to use them, right?
Absolutely. These scenarios were curated from the most common use cases and the customer needs that we talked to many customers about, and only then we made the decision to build these apps.
And what I love too is just the level of time that your team has put into these. So I know in the past, people have gotten some templates and it's taken them some time to make some modifications, but really what you have here works out of the box, right? You've got just the quality level and the capabilities here are where the feedback we're hearing from folks is just great. And that theming you just talked about is awesome, as I think folks may have seen in Charles's session he did at the event.
It doesn't get better than this.
Hey, Tulsi, why don't we show them some of the great work your team's put together in the demo?
Sounds awesome.
Tulsi showed you how easy it was to use Project Oakdale to create an application and created a really interesting scenario around an area walk within a store. Area walk is one of several scenarios where we realize that regardless of what industry you're in, there is a common set of activities that people were doing that we could enable an app for and really make some investments in there to help you go even faster with a solution that you could then deploy and modify. And so whether your area happened to be around a store that sold phones, or it happened to be an oil and gas business that had people that needed to walk around and monitor pipelines, that we could give you a solution you could easily use and customize for yourself. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and click on the three dots here. You can see more apps. You're going to see a number of apps here. Now, right now, we're in our test environment. This is ahead of the Ignite conference. And so it's going to say built for test here, but that'll be first-party solutions for you. I'm going to click on Area Walk. I can see some details about it. I can see that it's going to go ahead and use a tab at the top of my chat or my channel. I'm going to go ahead and click Add to Team. Now it's going to ask me where I want to go ahead and put this. And so I actually created a channel in group 281 called Area Walk Solution. I'm going to go ahead and put that on that channel. I'm going to go ahead and set up that tab. Now you can see behind me, I've now shifted to that group, and I'm on the Area Walk Solution tab that I created previously. I'm going to go ahead and approve this. I'll click Save. And then what's going to happen is it's going to go ahead and install that into my tab. Now, this particular solution has two apps. One is for the manager that's going to go ahead and configure this, and one will be for the employees that will actually be doing the walk. Now you can see here that we're going ahead and doing that install, and in just a moment we'll circle back here and look at the app post-installation. We can see now that our application is installed. As I mentioned, there are two apps. This is the Area Walk Manager. It's asking me for which channel and then which tasks instance we want to use. So I had one called tasks that was set up in this channel. That's a part of the planner app. I'm going to go ahead and click continue. Now it says, okay, we want to figure out where we want to store our images. So click the open tasks button in a new window. We'll go to sites. We'll get this URL. Paste that here. Now you can see I've got a fully configured application. It's preloaded for us. I have a number of locations that are here. If I want, I can go ahead and add another one where I can give it a title. I can specify what type it is, and the types I can manage right here as well. I can even add an image to reflect that. You can see here that I've got different locations that are here. I've got graphics that are attached. Some of them have inspections. I can see this is sort of the morning store walk. I can see if there were issues that were reported. Or any details that are here. Now, when I do an inspection, I'm going to have an inspection form. I can create a new one if I want. Here are some examples here. Here's sort of the morning store walk. So what am I going to do in the morning? I'm going to make sure that it's clean and hygienic. I've got some instructions here, and then I've got these action buttons. Is it okay? Is there an issue or not applicable? And then I've got some reference images that I can use here for these. I can go ahead and edit that if I want to. Then you also can see here we've got some inspection insights. You can see here there's also an Area Walk app, and so this is what people are actually going to use as an employee. Now here, one of the great things about this is we're building in PowerApps, which has a number of different connectors, so I can connect to a number of great software and pieces of software and service in here. So I'm using Planner, Teams, Office 365, both Outlook as well as users. I'm also connecting into SharePoint. So I'm going to go ahead and allow these. Now you can see here it says, good afternoon to admin 1. I can go ahead and inspect a location. I can say, do I want to look in all of them, just in clothing, or just in food? There's 3 locations. Remember, we saw these earlier. And I've got my 2 different inspections I can do. And remember, I said we have that checklist, or clean and hygienic, or clutter-free and accessible. I can go ahead and click here. And I've got those action buttons that we talked about and you saw earlier. So I can say, yes, indeed it is clean and hygienic. I can also add a photo. I can add a note. I can also add a task that's in here. And then I can scroll down to clutter-free and accessible. I can also say that that is okay. I can review my inspection and then submit it. And this is going to be available for me now back in that app we just looked at. So this is a fantastic app, but you know what? I might want to go ahead and change that. Maybe I want to modify it and use colors that represent my company. Click Build. Now you can see it says built by this team, but there's also installed apps. So as an installed app, I can now see that this area inspection has 2 apps. It's got 1 flow. The apps are Area Walk and Area Walk Manager. I can click on one of these and access all the files that are in there. I can modify it to theme my application. I can use the colors and graphics of my company really easily using the built-in theming within PowerApps. And that's a quick tour through the new solutions available to you as part of Project Oakdale.
Okay, so to recap, what have we seen in this session? Well, Teams and Power Platform is better together. You can easily create apps within teams and orgs, as well as flows and chatbots. It's built on a powerful, trusted data store. You've got easy to understand and implement security that's great within a team, as well as extended beyond the team when you want to support organizational apps. You've got one-click deployment of solutions that you've built or that we've made available to you as one of our great solutions for common scenarios that are out there.
Hey, Mark, should we run through a few of the questions that we have heard from our customers till date?
Yeah, it sounds great, Tulsi. Hey, on the PowerApps side, those Canvas apps look pretty amazing. I know sometimes customers ask us about model-driven apps, and you guys have been working on those as well, right?
Oh, yes, absolutely. We know that there's a lot of interest in that area. So we're actively working on bringing them in as well, because we want to make sure that our Dynamics customers are not left on the side either. And later this year, we'll be able to bring something in for that side as well. So let me ask you something. I know you talked a little bit about this, but can you remind us where the 2 GB capacity is going from? Is it going from an organization's existing pool?
Hey, Tulsi, that's a great question. And it is one, as you mentioned, we do get a fair bit. So the good news is that for folks that may be an existing CDS customer, there's a pool of capacity that you pay for today. And you're managing that for your common data service applications and things you've been building on PowerApps previously. This is actually in a separate pool. So things related to Project Oakdale are in their own pool, and your 2 gigabytes per team are sort of from that. Well, thanks everyone for joining us today. We really appreciate you taking time to learn a little bit more about Oakdale. There's lots more being spoken about at Oakdale for this event. If you haven't already had a chance to see Charles's keynote earlier today, I highly recommend doing that. And definitely check out all the new additions we put into our online documentation that are also going live today.
Thank you so much, everyone. It was a pleasure for us to be with here today. Thanks a lot, and we look forward to more connections in the future.